Hey guys, this video is an update on my process of trying to finish this Explorer 8.8 to put in my Blazer. So at this point, I have replaced all the seals, both axle seals, the pinion seal, and the differential cover seal. Issue: all my mechanic friends who work in these shops, they are like, if it's a rear end that's already been set up and in service, you just impact the nut back on and send it down the road. It's hard, to get access to an inch-pound meter. I don't have an inch-pound calibrated hand, but I can grab that round piece that's on input of the rear end, and I can grab it, and it's got a little bit of a, I want to say it takes a little bit of force to get it to move, but once it's moving, it moves fairly easily, but I still would highly doubt that it's like inch-pound worthy. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold. I would most definitely check that rotational resistance and see, does it need to be a little tighter? Does it need to be a little looser? I don't know for sure, and it bugs me to death. All the external seals have been replaced. I've got just blue shop rags stuck in each axle tube to kind of keep dirt and debris out of it. What's holding me up at this point is trying to get a Chevy rim on a Ford bolt pattern. It's amazing what a little bit of bead blasting or sand blasting, glass beading, whatever, how much it'll clean up a set of rotors. Did get lucky on these, because these rotors were brand new basically. They showed no signs of wear, grooving, anything. Pads look brand new, everything, which is unheard of from a scrapyard, junkyard rear end, I would suppose. Here's the custom hole I added in my workbench, and I'll show you what it's for. Working on axles. I don't know. Sometimes the simplest ideas work the best. Here's an example of this axle bolt pattern template that I got from Motorsports of Kansas City, and the downfalls of it. Because yes, you can use it to figure out a bolt pattern, but if every one of these studs aren't completely true, like if they've been tweaked or pulled or moved by tightening them on a rim, that's as far down as it'll go. But you get stuck once you get on the threads, so that sucks. Then if you probably can't see, but I'll tell you, the hole right here is the 4.5. This would be the 4 3/4 pattern. It's only 1/4 of an inch from this stud. So even if I could bang on these, because I could probably bang on these and kind of straighten these studs and get this thing to slide all the way down to here, that's too close. According to that rule of thumb, I can't drill a hole next to this one unless I'm 7/16 away. And I don't have, this template doesn't, it's like it's not designed to help you drill your axles. It's purely manufactured so you can check the bolt patterns on rims, axles, whatever. So, a little disappointing, but it's better to have than not to have for $5. That's the way I look at it. In my quest to figure out how to put my Chevrolet rims on a Ford rear end, most logical would be to do what Andy and everybody else did: take their axle shafts into a machine shop. I was in a hurry, and I was wanting to get this vehicle back on the road by October 10th. I was diligently trying to find a way or find any shop at that point that would charge me roughly $80 to $100 and it could get them done in less than a week, or maybe a week max. I totally struck out on that front. Okay, there's no common sense involved with spending $150 just to change this stupid wheel bolt pattern. So I started trying to find a way to drill them myself. Well, I don't own a drill press, and nobody in their right mind is recommending that I try to hand drill these, because it not only needs to be properly located to the 5 on 4 3/4 pattern, but it has to be accurate. You can't be angled in any way, and you can't be off. You have to be very accurate with your hole placement. So I was like, okay, well, back when I put my Ford 9-inch in my 71 Ventura, well, I happened to have at that time a set of what looked like antique old 1-inch thick aluminum, and to this day I can't remember if it was a spacer or if it was a wheel adapter. I'm not even 100% sure where I got them from. But what they down there was they just bolted this 1-inch aluminum piece to the 5 on 4.5 Ford pattern, then used transfer punches just like these, get them in the picture, use these size appropriate transfer punches to just punch the 5 on 4 3/4 pattern through the holes on my little aluminum adapter / spacer, and then drilled them out to the appropriate size on the drill press. Well, I thought, well, I could do that, only no one I know has a drill press that the axle shaft will fit through. Like when you look at where the drill motor, the chuck, then you have your work table that moves up and down. Then most of them have a pedestal. It has a base that the drill press is on. Well, that work table that you can move up and down and swivel side to side, some of them you can even tilt a little bit, the hole in the middle of it isn't big enough for an axle to fit through. So basically what you're looking at is you've got an axle that I believe at its fattest point 1 inch, 645 thousandths in diameter. So nobody had a hole in their work table that would even allow me to slide an axle through there to try to figure out how to drill it. So moving beyond that, I thought, well, maybe if I could just figure out how to locate my pattern on the axle, perhaps I can drill, when I get access to a real drill press or a different style, maybe I could drill them myself. I'm still trying to save that $100 and do it myself. So I went to what essentially it's Speedway, but in Kansas City, the local distributor for Speedway is called Motorsports of Kansas City over on State Avenue. I bought this little template that has the sizes on it. The problem is when you put this on here, it doesn't properly locate. It doesn't tightly locate on this center hub, which is going to have a great, I don't want to say great, but it's going to have a marked or measurable influence on where the pattern is. Another issue we found out was when you drill a new hole in your axle flange, the rule of thumb is you can't get any closer to an existing hole than the thickness of your new stud. So if I'm going to put a 7/16 stud in here and do the 5 on 4 3/4 pattern, I need to be at least 7/16 of an inch away from this hole for my new hole. Okay, I hope everybody follows that. So I need to put in a new stud, however, whatever the diameter is of my new stud or my next stud, I need to be that distance from an existing hole for structural integrity, strength, whatever you want to call it. Well, for some reason, whoever made this little piece of love they put the 4.5 and the 4 3/4 right next to each other. That's only 1/4 of an inch. Like, I measured it with a caliper. That's literally 250 thousandths between this hole and this hole. So it's too close. This, it would only be good enough to go to a swap meet and check bolt pattern for wheels and axles. It's not meant to be a drilling guide, because if they had meant this to be a guide for drilling holes, all they would have had to do was do 4.5 here, put 5 inch there, 4 3/4 here. You see the rhythm or the pattern. If they'd have moved 4 3/4 over here and put this 5 inch, you know, if they'd have flipped these two holes, then you could use this to locate on this type of a setup, because it would basically center your new 4 3/4 pattern in between the existing 5 on 4.5 holes. But like I said, I put this on and it's like, but then it dawned on me, if you got just literally a small rubber band and put it on that hub, you could, now I'm just going to show you guys, you could take your time, push this thing down over that rubber band equally, because you can get it to equally go over that rubber band. But when you take your time, you can get an equal reveal all the way around, and you can locate the new pattern on your axle flange. Still concerned, this is a piece of plastic. I don't know 100% how accurate that's going to be, but it will definitely be centered over the hub. So I've been racking my brain trying to find a way, to, and you can see on here, hopefully, I put a little dicom on here, and I have transfer punched the new pattern on here. Now keep in mind, I'm not drilling anything because I don't have a drill press yet. I don't have access to a drill press, but I'm working on that tomorrow. I'm going to be able to verify this as an accurate location for all my new holes and be able to drill that out to the appropriate size. I was absolutely trying to help myself, and I was trying to set up a situation where, sorry about that, where I could actually drill axles myself, even for other people. So I went ahead and, I don't know if you guys noticed that, added a little hole in the workbench so I can have a place to hold my axle, which, if you've ever rebuilt a transmission, that's going to come in handy for transmission rebuilding. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I've been brainstorming, trying to save $1. In the immortal words of my friend Andy, the cheapest guy pays the most. But I absolutely am trying to stay within a very limited budget. And no, I don't want to mess up an axle where I have to go buy another axle or two from the scrapyard. But it's just really hard to pay someone $100 to do something that seems so simple. I hope that translates in, this video. I'm more of the figure it out, find a way to do it yourself person. I want to find a way that I can do this myself accurately, 100% legit. And that way, if I ever need to do it in the future, I can do it again. If I could do it for another person, I can do, buy the parts, buy the tools, and be able to do your own work. So that's where I'm at right now. If I can ever get these stupid axles drilled to where they would match my Chevy bolt pattern, I'd be able to throw that thing in the car and start getting it back on the road. I am still not giving up, and I will keep continuing down this path of trying to get this thing running. All right, as always, guys, I appreciate you watching these videos. If you have any tips, tricks, recommendations, experiences, please share them in the comments, because I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, guys.